Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another program here at Kardec Radio. We are together tonight to talk about one of the issues of the Spiritist magazine. Welcome. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And today we're going to be talking about an issue 24, which is the one you see next to me. That is a beautiful issue that we have actually previously talked about in a Kardec radio program before. I'll link down below the audio for that program. It's called It's Good to Be Good by Dr. Stephen Post. And as you can see here to my left and your right, we have this issue 24, published in 2014. If you were to visit spiritistmagazine.org, you would be able to download the PDF version of the magazine. That's what you're seeing on the screen right now. And you would also be able to download the app for your phone and or order the physical copy of the Spiritist magazine. So many ways for us to nourish our souls here at Kardec Radio and to use it for our studies at home. The article we're going to look at today is titled Beneficence and Charity. See, it's very easy to scroll through. And this is the article by the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. And this article is from the book Money, published in 2015 by the United States Spiritist Council. Here's the book for you. You can acquire it at spiritist.us. And this, by the time of the publication, this article was published first at the Spiritist magazine, and the chapter is titled Beneficence and Charity. So it's a compilation. This is a beautiful book that allows you and I to reflect on the blessedness of money, but not in the sense of the greedy way we on the planet worship money, but money as a blessed tool for you and I to do good, to spread the good and cause everyone and everything to be, for everybody's life to be better. So this is a message by Emmanuel. Let me put it here for those folks who are gonna arrive a little bit later, so you will be able to read it with me. Let me see if it makes it. There you go. So let's reflect on it together, parts of it at least, for tonight, where we will be able to look at different things. The reason I bring the PDF version to you, and I bring the way it is, to show it to you that you don't need anything special to do the kind of studies we're doing. I'm encouraging you to download it to your tablet and to your phone and just read it and meditate on it. A lot of the teachings we're going to find in the Spiritist magazine bring a lot of reflection, because the Spiritist magazine, a publication of the International Spiritist Council, which seeks to continue the tradition of Kardec of bringing the Spiritist ideas to us and allowing us to reflect on it. Emmanuel will tell us beneficence relieves the ordeal, charity extinguishes evil, beneficence aids, charity solves. And we will continue by saying, you may distribute handfuls of gold that are poured from your bag. However, in doing so, if you forget to add the light of your love in the form of respect and affection before others' wounds, then you will have neglected to include the understanding that will help you reconcile with yourself. Mm? So it's more than just handing out to someone the physical gold, the precious metal that we can extract from the depths of the earth, that we collect in our purses, in our wallets, in our bags. Well, we need to add to the material charity the light of the love, because can you imagine how hard it is for someone to be in a position where they are dependent on other people's beneficence and charity in order to have their minimum basic needs met. So when we add the light of love into the charitable work we do, in this case distributing handfuls of gold, how do we do it? In the form of respect and affection. We look at others with the compassionate eye that the Master would have looked at us when in times of need, and he is still looking at us with those eyes of charity, because he knows we still need a lot of his compassion in order to fulfill the needs that we have on this planet. Because if we don't do it, we would have neglected to include understanding that will help us reconcile with ourselves. When we are giving a resource, such as, for example, a voice, eyesight, the ability to have reasoning and thinking, those are things granted to you and I, because we could have been born without those abilities, in order to use them for the common good, not just for my own self. Because when I learn, when I apply myself to something, of course I'm improving myself. That's knowledge that I can take to other lifetimes, but it's also a manner of discipline. And then now I have to give back in the manner of helping others. When God allows us to have certain forms of exchange on the planet, in this case, we go and get gold and we make beautiful um, tokens we can wear with different symbols. We need to be able to use those resources to help others. It's more than just charity and handing out money to someone. We need to look at them as children of God, feel compassion, and also think, if I were in need, if I were the one who had the wound that needed to be taken care of, how wonderful would it be if someone took time from their life and from their own needs to help me as well? It's more than just giving people physical things, which we should, but more often is how we approach the distribution of those resources. So when I am infusing the light of love and respecting and giving affection, sometimes we don't have anything physical to give. Sometimes we're the one in hardship, and then it would be nice to receive it. Emmanuel will continue saying to you and I, you may offer the precious resources of your intelligence to those who despair because of their ignorance. But if you steal the blessing of sympathy from this lesson, then you will not extend clarity to the companion whose suffering blinds them. Same, this is in the book Money, by the way, because money is a resource. The same thinking and reasoning go here. If we are allowed, and if we have developed our intelligence, we've read, we've known, we've studied it, if we're a scientist, if we're producing data that others are going to use, we need to offer those precious resources to others. So if I know, for example, that there is a book that deals with money, in the Spiritist view of money by Emmanuel, and I hoard those resources to myself, but without, first of all, I'm being a miser, I'm keeping something that could benefit others to myself, and I'm going to have to answer to that. in the spiritual realm, maybe in this life or others. But then if I say, here, just watch it, read this, and I don't infuse the blessing of sympathy, because sometimes people need information to make good decisions, and there are people in there with the information to make a decision for their own health, for their own life. So we need to extend the clarity to those companions who suffer. So if I am a healthcare provider who reads about science and medications, I should not withhold that information from others so that they also can benefit from the blessing of the resources of intelligence that God has granted us. If we weren't to be here using the resources that we have, such as medicine, nursing, pharmaceutical, psychological tools, God wouldn't grant us those tools. So we need to use reasoning and intelligence to develop better tools and use them as in a combination approach, spiritual and physical. Either a donation from your abundance or the value of your culture does not matter in their service of elevating and refining the landscapes that surround you. It is the way you express them by giving yourself in what the Lord has lent you to distribute, because your attitude is a factor of fixation on this or that feeling in the vast human pathway. Do you have a lot of resources? Do we have a house full of food and resources and things and books and clothing? Perhaps we could use some reasoning and pare some stuff down that we don't use, we're keeping just in case, and then we can give it. We can give it with giving a donation from our abundance of things we have in material world, but also there's the abundance of spiritual resources, psychological resources, intelligence resources. So if we have a lot of knowledge but we're not sharing, we're also being misers. And also when we decide to share, we need to share with a way, and be very mindful of the way we are expressing the gifts and the donations, because we need to give over myself. It's easier for me to clear my closet in my house and put on a bag and donate than it may be from spending an hour a month going, still doing the donation, but then I go and serve the elderly, or I do care for the children of my family members and friends for an hour so they can take a shower and a nap. It's the way we give of ourselves, so of the what the Lord has lent us to distribute. Because what we have on this life is given to you and I by God. Yes, we can go and use our intelligence to create resources such as paper, ink, and books. But we didn't create the universal cosmic fluid that make this resources here with the ingredients we have on the earth, which is only our own periodic table. You can imagine how large the periodic table and the elements are in the universe of all the many spheres we can find. It's really about how we distribute the knowledge. I'll give you an example. I can read this message to you with kindness, which is what I try to do, or I can read the same message in a not so kind way. I can say, the donation from your abundance or the value of your culture do not matter in the service of elevating and refining landscape that surrounds you. So there are many ways I can distribute the same information so that I can try to impart into my donation from the abundance of what I have, the kindness. I can, yes, clear my pantry of food that is in excess that maybe I collected because of the pandemic. There's still non-spoiled, valid, then I go and donate to the food bank. Or I could prepare that food and hand it out to my neighbor who is in need, who may be elderly. Or I can volunteer to go to feed the homeless, so on and so forth. So there are many, both manners of beneficence and charity are valid, but we are being called one step ahead. And that's the challenge of being a Spiritist. Because it's not just about going to the Spiritist Center or watching a lecture, but is how do I use what the Lord has lent me and apply the teachings of charity into my life. Remember, the law of love, justice, and charity is a law in the Spirit's book. So we need to be distributing love and charity everywhere we go, and justice, by the way. But it's how I do it. It's how I use my intelligence. Am I using my intelligence to read, but not sharing? Or am I using my intelligence to help others? Because we can do both ways. We can help others and learn and grow at the same time. Emmanuel will finish by saying, this is because we all need inner renovation to access the treasures of the Spirit. By doing good, using the momentum of our own souls, it let us value the word through which we will spread goodness, and thereby edifying our life in us and with others and us, by always doing our very best. And this is from the book Money, by the Spirit Emmanuel, through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. And here we have, dear friend, this is our message for tonight. It's always a blessing to be with you. It's always an honor to be here, sharing these teachings that we have, that we are blessed to have in our lives. And remember, we can always go back to the spiritismagazine.org website, where you and I can read many of the beautiful messages that the Spiritist magazine has to offer. And let us practice. The invitation today is for us to practice beneficence and charity everywhere we go. Not only reallocating the resources, the physical resources that we have in order to fulfill the physical needs of our loved ones and the ones we are entrusted to be together on this earth, but also to allow you and I to learn how to infuse with loving kindness those resources and be very mindful of the way we are distributing the resources that God has given us in this lifetime. And dear God, thank you so very much, dear friends. And with the blessing of God, I hope that I can be with you again another time with another program from the Spiritist magazine. Have a blessed night.